Hi and welcome to another shoe review here on Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim and today I'm reviewing the Nike ZoomX Next Percent 2. Now these have to be one of the most anticipated updates to a carbon-plated racing shoe for 2021. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes that I'm about to review for you. So let's do that. But then when we come back together, I'm going to take a real close look at the Nike ZoomX Next Percent 2. Now these are a neutral road racing shoe that feature a carbon fiber plate and a ton of ZoomX foam underfoot. They cost $250 US. They came in at 6.9 ounces for a men's size 9 on my scales or 194 grams, and I ordered them true to size. So I'm going to start and talk about the fit and the feel of the upper first. Beginning up in the toe box, I did feel like it was a little bit narrow. You can see it's a pretty aggressive curve on that lateral side of the shoe, so I did feel that material pressing up against my toes over on that side. Also across the midfoot, I was able to get a lockdown feeling, but it took me a little bit of effort to get there. And in the heel, I did feel just a little bit loose. Now these shoes are ultra lightweight, so it hardly feels like you have anything underfoot, so they're super comfortable that way. So let's zoom in now and we'll take a real close look at the material that they made the upper out of. Now, this is the biggest change from the original Next Percent. Here, they went to an engineered mesh material that is highly breathable. You can see right through it. It allows a ton of airflow to keep your feet nice and cool and comfortable when you're out running. They also added some plastic overlays around the toe box. And if you notice, you'll see that gray that comes all the way back around to about the midsection of the shoe. That's all a little bit of plastic overlay. It adds some durability as well as some structure to the material so it's not collapsing in on your toes. I found it to be really comfortable. And then as we move our way around to the side of the shoe towards the back to the heel counter, we can see that there's not a whole lot else going on there. So let's take a look at the lacing system that they used here. Now they kept the offset lacing system that they had in the original version of the Next Percent. One of the things I struggled with this particular system is getting that snugged in feeling starting a little bit earlier in the eyelet chain itself. You know, I was able to get nice and locked in and secure, but it took a little bit of navigating for me. And they sent these laces that are beaded, for a lack of a better description, and they act somewhat like a ratcheting system. So as you pull them in, they kind of grip or grab a hold of those eyelets to help hold them in place. But it can be a bit tricky just getting them cinched in the way that you want them. Looking now at the tongue, you can see right away that it's not gusseted, but it doesn't need to be. It's nice and wide. It laid flat across my midfoot. I didn't have any issues with it migrating around, in part because they do have a loop that you can run your laces through to help keep it in place. It is made of a lot of mesh material, and now that just helps keep you nice and cool and comfortable when you're out running, plus it helps keep the weight down. You also notice that at the top there, they did add some padding to this version of the shoe, and that was a welcome addition. In order for me to get a nice snug locked in feeling back to my heel cup, I used a runner's knot, and when I cinched those down, I didn't feel those cutting into the top of my foot, so that little extra padding was a welcome addition. So let's take a look at the padding around a heel collar and a tab, and here I would call this kind of a bumper style padding. Now there's plenty of it to keep you comfortable. I didn't have any issues with it that way at all. It's very soft and cushioned. It's just very focused. Now the only issue that I seemed to have was really when I was cornering, and it did feel just a little bit loose under those circumstances, but other than that, I didn't have any issues with it, and it's nothing that would prevent me from buying these again. So let's check out the heel counter on these. See how much structure or material that they have back there to help hold your heel in place. In order to do that, I'm just going to put this up on my shoulder. I'm going to give it the pinch test. And as I pinch it together, I can feel that there is a moderate amount of resistance there. So there's lots of material or structure to the heel counter, especially for a racing shoe. And then as I push forward on it, there is a moderate amount of structure going forward as well. So I think there's plenty of material there to help hold your heel in place, give it a little extra stability. And for a racing shoe, this is often an area where that they can skimp and try to keep the weight down, but Nike didn't do that here. I think that they got just about the right amount of material to help keep you safe and comfortable when you're out running. So let's take a look at the midsole and all of that ZoomX foam that they have underfoot. They have 40 millimeter stack height in the heel and 32 millimeters in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. If you've never run in ZoomX foam before, you should give your feet a treat and try it out. They are super soft. They're responsive. Tons and tons of energy return. It just makes you want to move fast through your gait cycle. Combine that with a very aggressive carbon fiber plate that has a nice rocker to it, especially up in the forefoot of the shoe. Just makes you want to move quickly through your gait cycle. It's a very natural feeling, especially for me as a midfoot to forefoot foot striker. I just feel like I get lots of help moving through my gait cycle that just want to make me go faster. So let's take a look and see where that plate is located within all of that ZoomX foam. And it starts out, your heel is setting right on top of that carbon fiber plate. And then it takes quite a quick turn and moves down to the forefoot of the shoe, right down to the road here, basically right around the start of your metatarsal head. And then it has that nice rocker geometry here that just makes you want to pop off through your gait cycle. Again, it just makes it feel a little bit faster underfoot. So let's flip these shoes over and we'll take a look at the outsole. See how they're protecting all that soft, highly cushioned, responsive ZoomX foam. I'm going to start by looking at the heel first. And here you're going to see where they have patches of blown rubber, both on the medial as well as on the lateral side of the shoe. Now, these are your high abrasion areas where you're likely to see wear first. And then starting around the midfoot section of the shoe all the way through your toe off, they have plenty of blown rubber there. Now, while it's a thin layer of rubber, I think that there's more than enough there to help give you the kinds of durability that you're looking for so you can get the maximum number of miles out of these shoes as you can. Also, with that blown rubber, I feel like, there's a little bit of traction there. Now, I've had these out both on hard-packed dirt trails as well as some concrete and pavement, and I did feel secure when I was out running. So I think Nike did a nice job in moving to an engineered mesh material. It's a welcome update. It's both durable, it's lightweight, and it's highly breathable. I could feel the air flowing through that upper material, keeping my feet nice and cool and comfortable when I was out running. Also, adding that little plastic overlay around the toe box all the way up through to kind of the midsection of the shoe, give that material a little bit of structure as well as adding some durability. I think that was a nice touch as well. And then with the tongue, adding that little bit of padding up at the top just to give you some comfort so that as you cinch your laces down to keep your heels locked into place, you don't feel those laces cutting across the top of your midfoot. Now, there's no doubt that these are one of the fastest shoes on the planet. There's a reason why you find these on the feet of elite athletes everywhere who are breaking world record paces in them. But these shoes aren't for everybody. They can feel a little unstable with that tall stag cut. You got 40 millimeters in the heel, especially when you're cornering, or if you overpronate, that can be somewhat of an issue for you as well. And they have a narrow landing platform in the heel, as well as the midfoot section of the shoe. Now the forefoot's not too terribly bad. They got a decent landing platform up there. So if you're a mid to forefoot foot striker, I think that you're going to be fine. But if you strike back on your heel, you might find these to feel just a little bit unstable. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it for you. Thanks for making it to the end. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.